of condensation.
So,
If there is too much of vapor, if there is too much of heat, then there will be too much of vapor.
oh, okay.
But then the vapor has a lower density, it rises.
Yeah. So,
And as it rises, it cools.
as the vapor
At
rises,
that point where it is trying to cool, the latent heat of vaporization is getting converted into latent heat of condensation. So the condensation starts and there will be rainfall. That condensation position is achieved on the surface when the humidity is about 100%.
oh, okay. So you're saying when
There will be rainfall when there is
so when first the particles, the humans will evaporate out of the heated liquid system, and then when they start condensing, they will become rainfall and condense into the new society.
yeah, they will condense into another system.
Oh, okay.
But here is something important. This is pure something, and this is solution. Well, you put that in an equilibrium condition, and water will evaporate into the solution.
Yeah. This is one social system, another social system.
So the people who are supposed to belong to only one race will not remain one race. They will have a tendency to condense here into a mixed one. Enjoy life here.
So this is the
It is very natural.
yeah.
Why did the Irish people leave Ireland? The majority started because there was a famine.
Yeah. So in this case, the water is the Irish people.
And therefore, although
This is
although
America?
the Irish is supposed to be one of those pure races, they started condensing into America.
Oh, okay.
America at that time had very low vapor pressure of any kind, and therefore they could easily condense here.
It's an interesting point of view. I like it. Let's see what we got on the next page.
It's excellent here.
And, from the
But
overall the
condensation
world,
of vapor
there are many
is
societies
evaporation.
from where
The vapors escaping from pure water are not only condensed and absorbed by salt in water solution, but assimilated by it without making any distinction between the water from pure water and the water in solution.
So you're saying it's a natural process.
That's a natural process. Fugacity cannot be controlled. Whether it is Trump or it is Murray or Myanmar, you will always be faced with that fugacity condition. And condensation will start. If it is Myanmar, they will condense into Bangladesh. They will condense into.
Let's take a look at this one. Some other reason I thought this was funny. We've got the supposing a prosperous territory X is discovered somewhere, different persons would move in for exploitation of the resources, trade and commerce, and to settle there. Such was the case for the Europeans who migrated to America by the hundreds as soon as the continent was discovered. The partial vapor pressure of the components, or more appropriately, the partial population pressure, is of the communities already living in country X. In this case, America would have been low. So America had low population pressure, or low partial vapor pressure, and so that condensation of other communities was possible there. Contrarily, the escaping tendency of the population pressure and territory Y would be high in the case of living conditions, for example, the Irish. And for example, if opportunities are limited. Okay, so now that you've made the diagram, I understand this a little better. It's very helpful. Now we're getting here to HCR stands for human chemical reaction theory. So you're one of the first people after Gotha to draw a human chemical reaction. So this is very, you're originating new ideas here. You're breaking new ground in terms of human chemical theory. So an interesting analogy with 2.1 is equation 2.2. It is true that every society is faced with a hazard, has at least some, if not all of its members, will become so scared that they have to leave the calamity-stricken area without delay. So you say society plus scarcity of hazards or scare of hazards. And next time you make the book, this should go above the reaction area, somewhere up here. When you guys do the, and then has equilibrium reaction, some people of society going forward becoming refugees, some refugees coming backward. Is this correct, what you're saying here? That if, what would be the example of, this would be, say, Ireland or something like that, right?
Mhm.
This is the Irish society. They have a famine, don't have food. So some refugees leave Ireland, but you also have here the backwards arrow. So some refugees come back into Ireland. Is that true?
I don't think this is a balanced situation. The refugees are not prepared to return. Take the case of Afghanistan. It was
Of what?
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
In that case,
What year was this? Where they had the scare of hazards in Afghanistan?
Ages like, it's
What decade?
before, maybe
What years?
1980s maybe.
1980s? Okay.
Even 80s.
So in the 1980s Afghanistan, they had a scare of hazards. Why?
they are scared and they are refugees.
Why?
And
Soviet Union was attacking Afghanistan at that
Oh,
time.
okay.
So basically, these people they had a hazard of life. Fighting was going on, right?
Yeah.
War. So at that point, those people, they escaped.
But was there some that were going back into Afghanistan after they
No,
left?
there were some people who settled into Pakistan at that
Okay.
time.
And some were moving back from Pakistan into Afghanistan when
They did.
when things got
Some-
better.
Some did. Some
Oh,
did.
okay.
Others stayed here. So
they are not prepared to go back.
Huh?
The Afghan refugees settled in Pakistan.
Okay.
They are not prepared to go back.
That's a good example. I like this. Let me go a little forward here. See if we can get to page 40 and then maybe take lunch break.
yeah, there's another from Pakistan.
So then next here you've got the, we say in 1939, the Spanish Republicans crossed the Pyrenees in the middle of the winter to take refuge in France after having been defeated in the Civil War.
Chechen, what's Pyrenees?
The mountains, I think.
The mountains.
And the French were not very kind to the Spaniards, who had to face a lot of difficulty in getting themselves absorbed, assimilated. I thought that was a good book. You see, the second time I read your book, I didn't have it highlighted here, but the second time I have it boxed in. So when I read through your book a second time, I find more information that absorbs into my mind. So down here we have the escaping tendency in the above cases may appear as simple as a simple change of places in which only behavior of individuals looking for better prospects is of concern. This is similar to small vapor pressure, which every liquid has even at low temperatures. And the latter can be viewed similar to boiling when the input of heat creates such an intensive molecular motion. This is chaos in society.
Yep.
That the molecules leave the system after changing to the vapor state. That's a good statement.
There was a time in Karachi that was very, Libb.
Yeah.
It was a time when everybody was getting assassinated.
What year was this?
This was 1990 until 2004, 2005.
Wow.
So There were various
Yeah, but,
very precious people who were executed. His friend Hakim Saeed, who was once a governor of Karachi, he was assassinated. There's there were many people whom we found in what you call the sacks.
Yeah.
We found people in sacks cut. Yeah,
So that's similar to.
So that was when this was happening, and
So-
it was at the boiling point. This was where, from Karachi, majority of families either shifted to other cities or shifted to America, USA, Canada, Europe, outside Pakistan. We used to be. I used to be at that time in schooling, and my school was closed most often. And this was the time we were
That's
scattered.
This is similar to this diagram?
Yeah, absolutely it was.
Okay, you're showing me with the arrow. So explain what point to the.
Yeah. So this was us, the residents of Karachi,
Yeah.
right? And this was the terrorism that was going on in the name of sectarianism.
Was it coming from outside of Karachi?
It was coming from within Karachi. It was coming from a conflict between government and a conflict between people living in Karachi, and they became militia.
But this to clarify though, this bigger diagram here is let's say this is the boundary of Karachi,
Yeah.
which is 40 kilometers.
Absolutely.
But this shows the heat coming from outside the boundary. So this is wrong diagram?
This is where I was coming. So there was funding and weapon supply from outside.
Oh, that helped.
Yeah, that helped. This was it,
Okay.
and this heated up, and the vaporization started because people were not finding themselves. These people,
Their families started shaking apart. They had to leave.
Yeah, absolutely, they had to leave.
Oh, okay.
So this is where actually
Oh, okay.
So it's not the case anymore, but I was telling him about from the killing of Hakim Saeed.
वो आगे है यहाँ पर है आपने उसको सही कहा
Okay, let's take a look at this one here. The mechanism of evaporation and of migration is apparently the same. The species directly affected are the carriers of heat. What do you mean by this, carriers of heat or agitation?
Directly affected by that.
This is when
Lower.
you're,
Can you go up?
The
let's hear what
the
Mirza
species-
says.
The species directly affected.
Absolutely.
are
These were the
here.
people down at the beaker. These were the people who were receiving aid from outside
Yeah.
Karachi, and they were receiving this money, and they were receiving this weaponry.
Yeah.
So these were the people who were receiving the heat.
Yeah. So
So
let's say
they
this
became
is,
the agent.
let's say this right here is a family that leaves Karachi. So Mirza, you're saying they're the carriers of heat. When they leave the system cools a little bit, or they carry the heat out of the system.
This is the boundary line, let's say, between the two communities at war. No, but they are also being held. This is the force from outside.
Oh, okay.
This is the community that is affected. And here, it should be populated by two types of people. So the effect will be directly on this community at the boundary. They will evaporate. They will try to condense into this system. If they have to migrate,
Oh, okay.
they have to leave the place. If they have to leave the place, in that case they will go outside and evaporate out. But if there is sufficient pressure from above, they may be contained.
Mm-hmm.
But how can you do it when there is so much of pressure from below?
Okay.
So that creates a very critical situation, and the people are left with no choice but fugacity. They have to be fugitive. They have to leave the place. If they have to leave the place, in that case they will go outside and evaporate out. So Fugitives are not created out of their own will.
So there is one guy, I'll not name him, but he is still outside Pakistan because of those situations. I'll not name him. He lives in London. You can find him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the militia head from Karachi.
Oh, wow.
Just search him.
Awesome.
Then there is pressure. Okay.
Loss of affinity or cohesiveness in a physical-chemical sense applies to motion of fugacity. So let's take a look at this sentence right here. Loss
Loss of affinity or cohesiveness in physical sense implies promotion of fugacity. Doesn't it?
Unbearable
Society plus
fugacity.
unbearable environmental conditions applies fugacity. I don't know if that's exact equation is exactly
Society
right.
faced with unbearable, let's say flood,
Flood.
too much of rain. Society facing environment becomes fugacious.
There was a big earthquake in the upper country, northern parts of Pakistan, and this resulted into a huge level of migration towards southern part of Pakistan. People came to either changed city. This was in Abbottabad.
And where?
Big earthquake.
Earthquake caused the.
Yeah, it caused people to migrate. Their homes were utterly destroyed. Like, they were living at a tectonic plate.
Mhm.
So this tectonic plate moved,
Yeah.
and the whole city was broken apart.
Okay. I get the idea. What about this quote right here? You say applying external pressure, for example, putting a lid on the vessel, which is the second method to control fugacity, seems similar to the lack of government action or society's sanctions. The latter methods could contain the adventurous or the fugacious persons in the same environment. So, for example,
This is Mexico.
Mexico.
This is exactly Mexico.
So Mexicans are right now are very fugacious people.
He simply created a wall, no pressure from America this time.
Okay.
Okay, so let us know when to call it
Huh?
a break.
Yeah, right now we're going to probably take a break. Go to page
So
40.
can we actually
Yeah.
complete the
Wanna
probably the
complete
chapter?
the, complete the chapter?
Yeah, maybe complete the chapter and then.
Okay, yeah, let's complete the chapter. We only got a few more pages.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Let's see, page 42, you say, this puts the fugacity of the rural workers at 1.46% or 15 workers per thousand, or 19 workers per village. It's interesting, you're talking about giving measurements of social fugacity.
According to research, because it is 87 million people who are on the earth.
Then you say warlike situations, which is analogous to heating a solution to boiling point when a majority of the volatile components leave the container. I guess that's a good point there.
This is Syria.
Syria?
That was Syria. War
Syria?
situation.
Oh,
Bring it
okay.
down.
Rapid evaporation due to heating the solutions in the container effectively speaks extreme velocity.
So let's look at this graph here. You say the when compared with the fugacity of water, i.e. 35 million gallons contained in 1 cubic mile of air above water constitute only 0.004% or 4 parts per 100,000, it appears reasonable to assume that the fugacious nature of human beings is comparable to the fugacity of natural substances. That's interesting. I don't know. I thought I boxed this in on my second reading. I thought that was
This is
interesting.
to show that the fugacious nature is accompanied with every other liquid, and for that matter, in every other society.
Yeah.
It only accelerates when there is rise in temperature. It can be contained when there is some increase in pressure from outside. Inside, internal pressure is promoting fugacity. External pressure is controlling fugacity. And fugacity is this is the fugacious nature. If it has accelerated in 1984, it is because then the internal conditions or the internal pressure has risen.
Let's look at this quote real fast here. Literacy and unsettled conditions seem to be a major reason for the pattern obtained for developing countries where, in a physical-chemical sense, see, this is a good phrase here. When you speak about life, you have to talk about physical-chemical sense, or when you talk about fugacity, this is a good view of looking at things. So the kinetic energy due to the rise of heat content becomes high, and so does the fugacity from their environment. I'll have to come back to that. I put a little question mark on my second reading of it.
Oh no, this will only be repeated.
Wait, what?
We will be repeating this situation is likely to be repeated in the upcoming chapters.
Okay, when you do, okay, well, I guess we'll look at it again in upcoming chapters.
The fugacious nature is an ingrained quality of humans. Humans and birds and anything.
You're the only one in the whole world that speaks like this. The fugacious nature of humans is an ingrained property. You developed your own language.
Don't blame me for that.
Probably in maybe 10 years, more people will be talking. They'll be saying, Mirza, it says you're a very fugacious person. You need to watch yourself.
I see that in the classroom all the time. They're fugacious,
If you have found me,
Yeah.
that's good enough proof.
Yeah, right here you talk about the, let's see, this is the United Arab Emirates is thinly populated with a population of 1.5 million, while Pakistan has over 90 million persons inhabiting its land. The per capita income of the former is 34,000, while in Pakistan it is
It's
350. What is it now about per capita income?
See the difference?
Yeah.
2 zeros.
Oh yeah,
Why not?
The oil.
Why will it not? Why will they not condense into this situation? All the vapor created here because of 350 will condense here because it is 34,000.
I'm trying to gather data on that. Actually, because of the recruitment thing,
Mhm.
I'm trying to get the data for that, and once I do, I will actually send it to you.
Okay.
There are other countries, USA, UK. The demand of labor and skilled workers actually affects it a lot.
Okay, so we made it to
Ah.
chapter 3. We're going to take a break. And we'll come back. Page 47. Let's put
What page?
made it through the whole chapter.
Yeah.
We're making progress.